Hi everybody, and today I'm going to show you how to do some heatless curls for long hair. So you're going to need some fixers for your hair and pairs of socks and a sort of spray bottle or water bottle. Now you're going to basically need to separate your hair into the sections first. So I begin with splitting my hair in the back after brushing it out and parting where I want it to be in the morning. Okay, so once you have your hair in two sections, I'm just going to tie off one side of the hair so I can focus on the other section. And after that, I'm going to go forwards. I'm just going to fix that with a hair stick. You can use it whatever you want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the other side into 3 equal sections. So this is just sort of a feeling thing, so you just have to go around and feel until you're happy that each chunk of hair has an equal section. Those of you who are braiders will probably be pretty familiar with this technique. So then I'm going to just tie away 2 sections. I like to go bottom up because I find I can catch most of my hair in this manner. So I'm just going to tie away my top section with, again, another, I think that's topsy tail. And then I'm going to tie away the middle section, basically. And I'm going to make sure that those are out of my way so I won't accidentally catch any stray hairs into my first curl as we'll be tying the socks around. So the objective is to get as little hair in there as possible. Okay, so then you're going to take your largest or your thickest sock, because that's how I like to separate mine out, and then you're going to basically make a little ponytail. Now this can be wherever you like. This is all about the way that you sleep. So if you're like a back sleeper, you're going to want to have it more on the side of your head. If you sleep on the side of your head, you're going to want to have it either more to the front or towards the back. And this is also going to affect how the final outcome of your bottom curl will look, because it'll be more or less curly from the top. So now I'm just going to tie a regular half knot in the top of the sock. I like to use the top section for this because then it's easier to get the curl wound around it. So I'm just going to take a regular half knot, and then I'm going to make sure that this section of hair is completely brushed out, and I'm going to wet it down. Now this wetting it down, it doesn't need to be soaking wet, but it needs to be wet enough that when you wake up in the morning it will be dry, but it will have been wet, if you understand what I mean. This is pretty similar in most heatless curl tutorials. And then you're going to comb out or brush out that section of hair, depending on your thickness, until you're absolutely sure that there is no knotting thickness. Now, this one I'm going to twist towards my face, and then I'm going to twist it away from my face. Because I have a pattern of 3 curls on either side, that means that I'm going to want to have the top section going away from my face. So I'm going to have this bottom section also going away from my face. And then you're going to follow the same pattern all the way down. So just twist towards your face, twist away from your face, brush it out, and then make sure that it's all tight together, which will give you a very nice spirally curl look. Now, you can totally play with the ratios and which direction you're spinning the curl around, but make sure that you always twist it in one direction towards away from your face, then around the sock in a different direction, because that's what will hold the curl in the best way. And then I'm just going to tie another regular half knot around the bottom of that section over the hair so it stays there. And then I'm going to go through the same procedure, except I'm going to twist away from my face initially and then back towards my face with this middle curl. So again, I'm going to brush it out and wet it down sufficiently. And then I'm going to brush it out again. And this time I'm going to go away, or wet it down again. So you're going to go away from your face this time, and then towards yourself. And make sure that you try to keep this as close to your hairline as possible, because as you sleep, these will fall just a little bit. So depending on how curly you want your hair to be, this is definitely a time when you want to keep it really close and really tight. And again, I'm just going to go around and around to the bottom of your hair. Now, I'm using knee-high socks in this tutorial because my hair is a little bit past my tailbone, and this is an extremely effective curling method. But yeah, you do need long socks, especially if you plan on doing it. Also, if you have thicker hair than me, you're probably going to need more socks and more sections. Just it's a thing you figure out, basically. So again, once I've reached the end of that section, I'm just going to take the sock and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom. And now I'm going to repeat this procedure all over my head in an alternating pattern of back and forth. pretty much all there is to this point in time. So once you've finished everything, you can either tie them back to make it more comfortable for you to sleep on. This is basically a personal feel thing, but these socks are pretty comfortable to sleep on. So now you're gonna go to bed, basically. All right, see you in the morning. All right, so now it's morning, and you can see that my hair is a little bit messier, but not much. Now I'm gonna start undoing this with my bottom sock because I feel like it comes out better. So I'm gonna undo this bottom sock, which was incidentally the first one that I did last night. So once I've untied that, then I'm just going to very carefully untwist this, making sure to preserve the curl and not just pull it out really harshly, or just be very gentle with it, because these are curls that you don't really want to damage. And then I'm going to actually untie, not slide down the knot from that sock. So you can see you've got your curl here. And then I'm just going to repeat that with all of the other socks. This is not super time consuming. I think I did this within like 5 minutes in the morning. Of course, if you have more socks or more hair, so on and so forth, this will take a little bit longer, but honestly, it's quite fast. Now, I'm not going to undo any of these curls just quite yet, because I want to see what I want to do with it. Now I'm just going to start separating the curls, and I'm just going to start from the top and then move down, and basically there's not much to it. You kind of shake and then you separate. If you did a good job combing out your hair last night, this should be relatively easy because there will be basically no knots left in the hair. And then you're just going to basically mess with it until you're happy with what's going on in your hair. I like to keep mine pretty separated and fluffy because my hair is not super voluminous, so this is nice. And then another method you can do is turn your head upside down and sort of shake out or separate the curls further, just so you can see in the back. You can also see that this shortened my hair quite a bit, as I did start when it was straight, down a little bit past my tailbone or past my hips. So there is quite a bit of shortening that does occur in this curling method. And I'm just going to shake them out until I'm happy with the state of my hair. And then I'm going to mess with it and do whatever sort of style I want to do. Today I'm just going for a simple headband because I'm kind of running late. So just put it up however you like it to be. And that's about all there is to it. I like headbands with curls just because they look nice. And there you go. So there you have it. That's the heatless curls method for very long and very straight hair. My hair does not hold a heated curl, for reference. So this is an extremely effective method, and you don't have to do anything. So I hope you liked the video. Bye!